So by now, most of us have realized that what Google pushed out for the Google Meet updates to give us the ability to take attendance and to do breakout rooms were both only available to the Enterprise Edition, which for most of us, our schools are not going to update to the Enterprise Edition because it is so costly. So that leaves us with finding other solutions. Up until now, I've really kind of pushed that the best other solution is to use either a Google form and have kids sign into a Google form because you get a timestamp that they were there, or using a screenshot of your Google Meet with all of the students logged in the grid view. There's a better solution now. But before I talk too much about it, I do want to put a disclaimer out there. It's an extension. Today is November 14th of 2020, and it works very well right now. However, with future updates, it may be that this extension will break, and then you will be stuck going back to another solution. But for now, this is a fantastic solution. So let's dig in to how do I take attendance in Google Meet Free Edition. So the first thing you're going to need to do is install the Google Meet Attendance extension. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Once you have it installed, you'll notice that when you come up to the top right hand corner of your Google Chrome browser, in the puzzle piece here that says extensions in the tooltip, you'll see that the Google Meet Attendance extension is installed. Once you know that it's installed and running, the next thing you can do is start your Google Meet like you normally would. So if you go into Google Classroom to do it, you can do that. If you schedule it through Calendar, you can do that. Or if you simply go to meet.google.com and start a meeting that way, you can do that. So now I've got my Google Meet open, and you can see that I've got a little green check mark down here in the bottom next to turn my camera on and off. When I click it, it turns on and off the control panel for my attendance. This is a really neat tool because it doesn't require us to push out any kind of extension on the student device to track who's in your meeting and for how long. So to set this all up, I like to start by setting up my class list. This can be done at the top. When you click there's a little tiny down arrow here. When you click that down arrow, that brings up all of the classes that you have saved. If you don't have any classes saved, because this is your first time, probably you won't, you can click this add to add a class. Then type in the name of your class. So, it could be like your Riffle ELA 101. Then the next thing to do is right here, just click in the white box here, and you're going to paste in or type in the names of all your students. The best way to do this would be to either use their email addresses or the name that appears in Google Classroom or on emails that they send you. So if you have a list of, like a class list, you can just copy and paste that class list in here, and it'll list all the students. And the reason why that's useful is because if you have all your students in here, then your students who are absent will show up as absent on the report that we create at the end here. So once you get all your students listed, so I'll just do student 1, student 2, and student 3. And once you get all your students listed in here, you can add the list by clicking this button here. And then now, every time I use this extension and I'm working with that particular group of students, I can just open my classes and click on that list, and it's going to populate all those student names in my extension tool here. So when I'm ready to take attendance, or let's say I do my meeting and I just leave this thing running in the background. So I could just either leave it up like this or leave it like this. Can have it in and just running. When I want to get my attendance before I close my meeting out, or even after the meeting if I open another Google Meet to get into this tool, down at the bottom here is your past attendance information. So I can click on that past attendance information. That's going to give me a list of all the Google Meets I've done in chronological order here. So let's say I want to see my attendance from today for this class that I had going from 12:40 a.m. or p.m. to 12:55 p.m. I can click on the list, And then I can come down to these tools down here for different options. The one that I like to use is this little save the selected report. You can do more than one of them if you want, but when you click it, it actually downloads, well, when I allow it to, it downloads into my downloads bar here my report. So I can put this in my Google Drive, and it saves it by the date here, class list, and it gives you the date. So I can put this in my Google Drive for, to hold on to prove, for whatever reason I might need it. So let's go ahead and open that class list and take a look at how this report works. So for this report, you can see I've got across the top here all the information about my meeting, when it started, when it ended, and the length. I can see who was invited or who was expected to be at the meeting. I can see who was at the meeting and for how long. So my meeting started at 12:40 and ended at 12:50. Adrian Towner logged in, and I can just hover over it at 12:42 and logged out at 12:47. This phone number here, if I just hover over it, it'll tell me, stayed for 2 minutes, logged on at 12:50, logged off at 12:51. So I have all the information I need to show when my students were here and for how long. Okay, so basically that's it, guys. That's how this app is going to record attendance for you. If you wanted to keep like an archived record of your attendance, I wouldn't use the HTML report. So you'll notice I'm actually in it. Looks like I'm in a Google Meet. To access this extension, you have to be in Google Meet in order for the extension to run. So what I did is I created a Meet, and I just called it GG. And then I'm not actually going to join the Meet. I'm using it so that I can access this control panel for the extension here. And then what I want to do is I want to pull a report. So I'm going to click on this little clipboard down here, the green and blue clipboard. That's going to bring up all of my meeting attendance history. I'm going to select the class that I want to archive my attendance for, or I want to save my attendance for, right? Because I don't know how long this extension is going to hold this. So if you're collecting attendance for some sort of like state reporting or something crazy like that, you're definitely going to want to do this last step. So I'm going to pick the class that I want to pull my attendance for. And then down here at the bottom, next to the HTML report, there's a save icon. It looks like the old floppy disks. So I'm going to click on that floppy disk. That's going to save my report as a .csv file, which if you have Excel, you can just open it in Excel. But what I would actually do or argue would be a better option is to, in your Google Drive, in your My Drive, you can open another window, and you see if I just open another window and go there, it's still right here. I could create, let's pretend, I could click New and create a folder and call it like Attendance History. Okay, then I click Create. Now I got this folder that is my attendance, and I can open that folder, and I can just drop this report that I downloaded as a CSV file into my attendance folder. It's going to take a second to load. So now that it's uploaded, you'll see that 11/17/20, the date, that's today's date, the date that you pulled the report for will be in the title. And then class list is actually the name of the class. So it'll title it for you so you can later find it. And if you're ever asked, if you're audited or something, you have to go in and show who was there on what day, you can just double click on this file. It'll give you a quick list, and you can see this person was here, they were here from this time to this time, and you can see how many times they joined and that'll tell you how many times it pinged them and they were still there, so it'll tell you how long they were in your meeting. So hopefully this helps, guys. Once it's in your Google Drive, you really don't have to worry about it anymore. Just keep an eye on that folder, make sure that folder doesn't go away, and you'll have a archived record of your attendance in your Google Meets. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.